Perfect. Okay, so yeah, so in your left-hand menu here, you now see notifications in beta stage right now. And when you click in here, you're going to have a couple areas here, and we're going to probably condense some of this stuff to make it a little bit more fluid. But for right now, you have all the notifications here, which we'll go over in a second. Your report viewer. So this is going to be basically any notifications that you do set up and then that you have triggered. You'll be able to see those later as a list in here. Channel is going to be how you would like to receive those communications. And this is something that we're probably going to integrate a little bit smoother into this section. And then, of course, we have the change log in here, so that if you want to note a change, you can actually put that in there as well. But it's kind of one of those tools that goes along with every aspect of ManageByStats. So let's go into this first one: advertising overview email. We'll just click on this add button right over here. So here's an example of what it looks like. So we have basically the key metrics here. And so these are all the key metrics you're gonna want to be looking at when you're looking at your advertising as it relates to your overall business. So you have some settings here. First off is, it's gonna, when you go in here, it's gonna enable it. Your alert method is how you want to have that message received to you. So
sent to you.
Yeah. So that's where you're going to create that in here. This is the channel, what channel you'd like to receive that on. And I think I have it opened up here. Yeah. So on the channels, you have a couple options. You're going to have email and phone number, and then you can give it a name. So you can put it as your personal name or as the email or whatever you like.
Or a virtual assistant.
Okay, so that's where you're going to select. You'll have a drop down. Whatever you create in there, you'll have that drop down. You can select from that. So then you have a couple options here that work in tandem with each other. So the first one is, when is this going to be checked? So when do you want our software to check for this kind of situation? So in this case, your advertising overview, we have some presets that are built in here that you'll automatically see in here. So right now we have a bi-weekly alert. So every 2 weeks, you're going to get your advertising overview, and it kind of gives you an overview of where things are. And you can look at that and go, okay, things are going better, things are going worse, whatever it is. And then you can dive into that area. But so yeah, when do you want this checked? So there's two aspects of this. When is our software going to check for this problem? Okay, in this case, the advertising overview is not necessarily a problem. It's more informational. You want to see what's happening with your advertising, right? But then you have, when is this alert sent? So in this case, if this is bi-weekly, I'm going to want this to be sent also bi-weekly because I want to receive it every 2 weeks. But if I wanted this checked every day, I could then have it also sent to me daily or immediately when it finds the alert, or weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly, right? So you can think with, when do you want the system to see if there's a problem? And when it sees that there's a problem, when do you want the system to notify you that there was a problem? Yep. Okay. And the reason we built out these, there's one and actually another feature that's on some of the other alerts that's up here. The reason we built these is because some alert systems, you basically end up getting spammed. You just get tons and tons of alerts that you can't even parse. There's so many instances of emails that are coming to you, or text messages, or whatever it is, that you're kind of like
blind. You become blind to it.
Exactly. So this way you can actually control, when do you want this alert to be sent to you? When should it be checked? When is it sent to you? And then how many of these alerts do you want? So if you have multiple alerts set up in here, you can say, okay, I only want to get one a day. I don't want to get 15 different emails in a day. I want to get one email that covers everything. Or if it's an advertising high spend, oh no, I want to get that alert immediately as soon as the system sees there's a problem, right? So there's flexibility that you can put into this. So that's what this next section here is, limit number of alerts to 1 per day, right? So you have different options here as well. And then this next section here is SKU selection. So now you're actually setting it up to determine what either you can get an alert for your whole brand or your whole account, right? If the system sees that your advertising spend on your entire account is changed by a certain value, a alert me, right? Or you can say, I just want to get this one brand checked.
You would press the little arrow there if you wanted to see the whole brand.
Yeah. If you want to get the whole brand, you throw it over like that. If you wanted to get just a group of products inside of this brand, you can select that like that. Or if you wanted to just go down to one of the actual products and just have that one product checked, you can do that as well. So let's go out of this one and let's go into one of the ones that has a few of these other features here. So let's go into advertising high spend. So here, now you have this other option I was mentioning here, right? So in this case, PPC high spend alert. I want to see if my spend is increased. Has it spiked by a certain percent? So again, we have defaults in here. 30% is the default. What we kind of consider is a good place to start. If you're not sure where you want it, you can use that default and then adjust accordingly. But is your advertising spend spiking by 30%? And how do you want that compared, right? So 30% compared to what, right? It could just be yesterday. It could be 7 days, it could be 14 days or 30 days, right? So you have some options. You can go, as an example, sessions, right? You might want to have that on a daily basis because you can see if your sessions are dropping on a daily basis, you get an alert and you go, oh, I need to do something about it. Whereas maybe your profit, you might not want to look at that on a daily basis because that's going to go up and down, but you might want to look at that on a weekly basis, right? Compared week to week instead of day to day. So if your spend is going to spike in a day, okay, you can have it compared to yesterday, right? 30% compared to yesterday. If it goes higher than 30%, boom, the system goes, oh, I'm going to check this daily. Again, you'll want to put in your what email or SMS you want it to go to. Yeah, and there's key things that you're going to want to look at. Like if you have a high spend alert, we could give you, the exact details inside of an SMS, and you go, oh man, I need to go and check it out. Whereas, if you want to look at the advertising hub, you're not going to want that on an SMS. You're going to want to look at, the actual details in an email, all right, where we can give you all the metrics. But now, okay, so we're looking at 30% spike compared to yesterday. When is this checked? You want it checked daily. And when is this alert sent? Daily, right? So now you're going to go, I want to know every day if I've, not even every day, only if it spikes, right? Then you'll get that alert. But you can also
I would choose immediately.
Exactly. Yeah. You can also do immediately. So when our system sees that, you can change that to immediately. And now you're getting it, right when the system sees it. Once you understand the difference here, I think it's pretty self-explanatory after that, right? How many, do you want to limit it to how many days or one per day or a week or whatever? And when you set that up, it'll create that inside of the system. Okay. So you'll get an email and it'll look very similar to this. This will basically appear in your report viewer, and you'll be able to see the metrics. So this is kind of what each of them is going to have. You're going to have a graph. If it's one of the KPIs, key performance indicators, you'll have a graph showing that change, showing what happened there. You'll have this red section for what is the actual alert. Your conversion percent has dropped compared with last week. What is the drop percent, right? So it'll actually show you what that drop percent was. If you set a percentage in there, it'll show you what that percentage drop was. And here's just a little bit more information, a little bit more details, basically showing you from what interval to what interval. So when you're looking at these maybe in the future, you can then go, okay, hey, when was this? What dates was this referring to? So this gives you the exact dates. And then down here is kind of ties into our KPIs, where we're actually giving KPIs dashboard. Yeah, where we're giving you recommendations on what it is that you should be looking at if you see something bad happening with one of these KPIs. And so in this case, conversion percent, give you a little bit of information on what that is. What are the things that actually influence your conversion percentage right here, and then graphs that you should actually look at. So these could be other graphs that either influence or are informational that relate to how you can actually analyze what's going on with your conversion rate. Yeah, so that's one of the conversion emails. This is impressions. So again, you can see your impressions statistic, some details here. So in this case, as this is regarding your advertising impressions, we're actually going to lay out for you the top 5 campaigns that actually are the culprits for why your impressions are dropping. So you can go in and find those campaigns and take some action on them. Here's the advertising overview. So we already showed that, but that shows you an example of it there. I think we have one more. Oh yeah, units ordered volume alert. So this one's going to be pretty simple. Basically, if you have you set it up for whatever account, brand, or ASIN, so that way you go, okay, hey, I know that I had a drop in my units ordered. You also can set one up for a spike. So that way, if you go, okay, I'm going to run out of stock, or shoot, I'm my sales are going slower, and for whatever reason you didn't maybe see that in your sales volume, you now have an alert saying, hey, your sales are dropping by 30% for whatever time range you put, and then you'll start to get those notifications.